In la catch is a Mayan greeting that means I am another you. Yes, I am another you. In Mayan times, my name is 5 Rabbit. I was born on that day. Best astrology I've come on yet, and we're just barely touching the surface to figure out what's going on. Here's the guy that broke the trail, Bruce Schofield. Mayan astrology. Oh boy. Of course, in this day and time, my name is Rollin Frost. I live on the Kona coast of the Big Island. I'm an astrologer. Well, I'm actually a chemical engineer. A went environmentalist who turned astrologer. Anyway, you're at a very special time. This is show 1010, and you're sitting, if you're watching a Thursday show on the 7th, you're sitting on a new moon. And this new moon conjuncts Uranus, which is all about astrology. And you know what I'm learning here, I got to be honest with you, is that we're a long ways from the true Aquarian consciousness. Yes. I graduated a bit. The Codex Borgia is a training manual for the astrologers of the Mayans, and it's not easy. It takes a while before you begin to accustom yourself to these pictures and these colors and these, there's life and death. Ooh, here's Rabbit. I learned to spot him. Here's Rabbit. Here's Deer. Here's Death. Here's Serpent. Here's Lizard. Here's House. I'm beginning to learn the day signs, and I'm starting to tune in to the pictures. Now, this manual was used by astrologers, by the young, to learn their craft. And I think In La Catch tells us very succinctly. Now, once you realize we're all just the same spirit in different charts, yes, incarnated at different times. Well, let's go after the next 10 days for you. Here's a sky mirror, and the new moon was a shocker, and you're in for a shocking month. Yes, here's Uranus, and having a new moon on that planet is something else. And, it makes you feel free and rebellious and gives you a new consciousness. But look out, like the song says, there's a man with a gun over there. Who's that? Pluto. Yes, and Pluto is raging, and he's in square to Uranus. Want to be a rebel? You're going to be the nail that sticks its head up. You're going to get hammered. And this is the month when Pluto stations. Now, it stops in the sky on the 18th, and Mars stations on the 17th. That's when these planets really act up. That's why you see me draw them so large here. Mars is angry, and he'll start fires and fights and bring out a knife and go after you. See, Pluto, of course, he's the policeman with the gun. He can be devastating. And so, we know that's going to be in New York, for one. I did that work. Eek, a bug is what I got for you. Because Pluto tends to instill a panicky feeling. Takes you to your reptile brain. Flight or fight, huh? And here's Mars saying, fight, fight, fight. So, these Pluto guys are squaring Uranus. And here we got a new consciousness. What, in La Catch? I mean, this is a revolutionary thing, but we're stuck with all these people in jail. And the wondrous generation of Woodstock is in jail for smoking pot. Huh. And the running dogs of the Big Hope generation, the World War II bunch, are still running things and running for office. And, we have systems here that have broken down totally, and everybody's buying a gun, and we're starting to panic, And so this is your month when you're going to see a lot of that. A lot of panicky stuff, a lot of anger, and especially revolving around the 17th and 18th. Well, enough of that. I'm trying to encourage you to take a new angle at things and tell you that it's very hard to open up your consciousness to a different worldview. It's very difficult, very difficult. It's happened stages. It's shocking. Anyway, keep it to yourself. There's a man with a gun over there. Let's see how it goes day by day for you, okay? We're just going to run the moon around the edge of this pattern. And there's there's a lot of things working together. Here's Jupiter trining Pluto. Here's Uranus trining Saturn. There are some good guys going on here, but they all tend to support Pluto more than they should. And, we're a nation of jails and guys in black running around with guns. Look out. It's a shaky month. So if you're on the Thursday night show, hooray for you. You've had the new moon, and it's actually early Thursday morning, late Wednesday night. So you're sitting on this really valuable time when the moon's in Aries until you get to 8 o'clock or so Thursday night. The moon shifts into Taurus. And instead of the jangly, sudden, panicky isolation feeling of I'm on thin ice, it settles down a lot on Friday. Because on Friday, here you got nothing but good angles to different planets. Look at all the little blue. See, the moon going through here makes a conjunction to Mercury. I mark it. And here we can communicate. Yeah, early Friday morning, late Thursday night. Here on Friday, there's a sextile to Neptune. We got faith again. Oh boy, music, faith, color, art. Look out, this is the stuff that led us astray for 2,000 years. A bunch of religion, a bunch of drugs, a bunch of world views that were confused. Hard to get them straightened out. Beginning of the age of Aquarius. Anyway, we got faith in it all. And here's the trine to Pluto late Friday night. Yeah, we carry a gun, it'll be okay. Uh-oh. Saturday, we're feeling like we could help. Saturday morning, the moon's still in Taurus. It's a nice sextile to Chiron, the helper. So you're having a pretty mellow Friday. It feels good. And Saturday. Till you get to late Saturday night, the moon shifts into Gemini. It all changes again. Gemini is an air sign, a mutable air sign. And it fools you. It starts early Sunday morning. It's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Nice sextile to Venus. Lazy sexiness. But, look out here, just after breakfast, there's an opposition to Mars. Now, Neptune is squaring Mars. Yep. A square from Neptune here over to Mars. A square is holding on to things kind of neurotically. Here's Mars, and he's holding on to what? His religion, his dreams, his drugs, whatever they are. He's dramatizing, and he really believes in what he's doing. And he's a bit of a fanatic, and you're going to see that Sunday morning. The young men are out being fanatics. If they were just drinking alcohol, it'd be okay. But if they're afflicted by a religious intolerance for either Christianity or Islam, look out. And you'll find out they have no judgment. Because here later Sunday, here's a square to Jupiter. Everybody's overdoing it at first. Just about dinner time, after dinner. And then here, 9, 10 o'clock, here's the opposition to Saturn. Look out, here comes the judge. So this is a very difficult Sunday, April 10th. And, you could get in trouble with liquids and fire and poor judgment Sunday night. Liquids and fire in the middle of the day, poor judgment in the evening. Finally on Monday, the moon sextiles Uranus. And we got a chance at some enlightenment. What do you mean, in la catch? We're all the same? Even those guys who are misbehaving, they're just us in another chart? Yes. Sorry. Be a while before you come around to that, huh? But that's the truth. Here's a sextile to the sun. Father is being revolutionary on Monday. Here's a chance to just shift your attitude a little bit one way or the other. You know, it won't hurt. Try it out. Tuesday, the moon goes into Cancer on the 12th. And in the afternoon, here's the square to Venus, and nobody's having any fun, and there ain't any sweets. And Tuesday night, here about 10 o'clock, here's a sextile to Neptune. And we got dreamy again, huh? Yeah, and here's a trine to Jupiter, you know, early Wednesday morning, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So here's this dreamy feeling of maybe religion is okay and all I got to do is pray. Jeez. Look out, it's lying in wait for you, because here on Wednesday we're going to hit that Pluto-Uranus square. The guy with the guns out first. The police are on the street. We're going to go out and have our union march anyway, they say, on Wednesday morning. And do what we want to do. Look out. Here's when now this is the new moon. The new moon squared this whole thing. So this is not just your normal revolutionary, the hell with its spirit. There's lunacy. There's exaggerated emotion here. There's panickiness. And it begins. Thursday, the moon goes into Leo, and it starts to mellow out. We're in the air fire signs again. By Thursday night, the heroes are out late, 9, 10 o'clock. Our machismo is up. There's a Mars-Venus trine. Oh boy, you know, the young people are out. Why can't we just have romance and pleasure and, you know, dance? Well, we got these problems in the world. We can handle them. Friday, here's a nice trine to Saturn. And if the union's there and we all get together, here's a trine to Uranus. On Friday, there's inspiration. We're not talking about it. Mercury's squared up. It's hard to talk about this feeling of inspiration. You know, in the old days, there were unions that battled Carnegie and the oil barons. And where the unions go, somehow the voters were misled into voting out unions. I don't understand it. It was your one big hope for a long time. Now we need a new union. Maybe that's the internet. New unions. Start planning. On Saturday, you'll feel proud of what you did. Here's a trine to the sun. And you got something done. Feels a lot better. After lunch, the moon shifts into Virgo, however, and it starts to tighten up with bad politics. And here on Sunday morning, oops, we got the square to Mars. Everybody's angry. They're confused. The young men, the fanatics, bombed the church. Stuff's going to happen. Can you get some sense out of this? The afternoon of Sunday, here's wise men pontificating on TV. Jupiter lawyers and professors. Do they know what they're doing? I have my doubts. But, you know, there's a trine to Pluto. Get your guns. Yes, lawyers say, oh, it's okay to carry guns in high school. Are you crazy? Oh, no, it's the law. We're a nation of laws, the lawyer said. And Saturn, he says, yes, the judge. We're a nation. We make the laws and you follow them. Uh-oh. Monday morning, the moon conjuncts the North Node, and there's a little mothering around, and we're tending to help people on Monday. But gosh, these Sundays, huh? Not really a very good time. Go church. By the by, I think the little sparkles on this are made from mica. And what I've learned is that at the Great Pyramid at Teotihuacan, where I hope to go in January, had huge slabs of mica. Huge, 20 meters by 20 meters by, you know, a foot thick. And these big one slabs were stacked one on top of the other. They were on top of the pyramid, and when people first excavated, they took them off and sold them. But you know what? Mica is also used in condensers and electrical things. And then they discovered in one of the pyramid areas under the moon or something, there's a huge stash of liquid mercury. Mercury and mica hidden in the pyramids make these pyramids look really electrical. More investigations will follow. there's two things that I pretty much invented myself that I intend to concentrate on for the next few years, or as long as I'm here. The first is the chart of now, and starting things and leaving the house and doing all these things. And in order to really get into that, you've got to have the app. And that means you need an Apple of some kind, because SkymareAstrology.com gets you the app. If you put /TV on it, you'll get my website, and there's a commercial for that app also. But you just want to be able to tap a button and get the chart of now accurate, super accurate wherever you are, and start working with it. But you got to have an Apple. Somebody gave me a couple of Androids, free phones. Oh, you want that? No, sorry, I'm sending it back. What I want is an Apple. I can get a Apple 4, iPhone 4 for about $65. I haven't looked into it more. But if you're going to get a new phone or a new pad or something, Apples only. If you want to take advantage of what I'm going to teach you over the next year. And, you know, you can buy that app for $10, you know, and here's the address. By the way, here's my email, rollinfrost@yahoo.com. And I invite you to email me anytime. I like that. So now the second thing, besides starting things on your life and making your own boat easier to ride in, as you row along, row your boat gently down the stream. The other thing I pretty much invented is how to predict these large events. And I wasn't happy with the kind of summarizing it on last week's show, so I'm going to try to do that again now. That's what the rest of the show is about. And so what happened is I decided to use the San Francisco quake, which April 17th, I thought it was 19th or 18th and got into it anyway. Basically what happens is, if you look at your ephemeris, when a planet's going to act up, here's the ephemeris for 1906, excuse me. That's when they station. Now I'm working with Uranus a lot, and here's the station of Uranus. See the little R? Uranus went retrograde at 8 Capricorn 29 minutes. And it did that on the 14th, which means 20 days on either side. It ramps up, gets real strong 14th or so, and ramps down 20 days on the downside. But here's a planet acting up. It's Uranus. It's the earthquake, tornado, hurricane guy, in the middle of April, 1906. Okay, that tells us when. Now we want to know about where. So you go and look at astrocartography, and you look at the full moons. Now here's a full moon, March 10th, 1906. And when you look at it, you look at the United States especially, and particularly Uranus, which is the guy that's acting up. And there is the symbol for Uranus on the descendant, and Neptune on the ascendant. Neptune on the ascendant will make you feel lost. Uranus on the descendant is eek. It's an earthquake. It's a hurricane. Where's that line running through? Where does it get really strong? There it is. There's the lines, and they run right up through Oakland, San Francisco. Wow. So there's place. Now, to go further with that, you do the actual chart of the location. Here's the city of San Francisco on the March 10th full moon. And usually the earlier full moons and new moons just shout, look what's happening here. There's Uranus at 8:00. The rising sign is at 8:08. Uranus exactly opposing the rising sign in San Francisco on the full moon, March 10th. Yeah? Oh boy, so we got our lunation, we got our station, and we got our location. Those are the two basics. There are other things. You can look at the 3/4, 1/4, the moons, the lunations 2-3 months ahead of time, Here's an April 15th lunation in San Francisco, 1906. Here's Neptune opposing Uranus, squaring Mercury. Oh boy, stopped all the communication transportation, didn't it? And here's wounded people over here on the 7th. This is after the earthquake, new moon April 23rd, conditions for the next month following April 23rd. General panic. Here's Pluto right on the rising sign. Oh boy. Here's another little side trick, because I know the chart of the U.S. government. I put it on the map of the U.S., and I look at Oakland, San Francisco, and there's the Neptune line running up through there. So I look at the chart of the U.S. government, and I look at the progressions to see if Neptune is afflicted. And sure enough, here's Neptune. Here's the rising sign. Now it's just a little bit away from Neptune, just like San Francisco's a little bit away from that Neptune line. And yeah, this is not easy. Here's the progressed midheaven and the progressed ascendant are both at 20 degrees. And so, and here's the sun at 20 degrees. So that tells us that, you know, there's a lot of action here. I don't know why, but there's a general ignorance among these so-called astrologers in the West about stations of planets. They don't recognize that stations act up. They don't recognize lunations squaring them too much either, so they're having a tough time. When you look at where, well, you know, the astrocartography isn't used well either. Okay, a brief review. Here you are in April 2016, and you're about here watching the show, and up ahead of you here is the Pluto station, yeah, on the 18th, and the Mars station on the 17th. So we have Pluto stationing and stopping and raising hell and acting up, okay, and he's doing that at 17.5 degrees. And then when you look, you see, gee, there's a new moon at 18 degrees, and it's on Uranus and squaring Pluto, which means we have a lunation and a station. So we know about when. Now how about where? Here is the astrocartography of the new moon that you're sitting on April 7th. Oops. So we're going to show you the hot spots where Pluto is, you know, acting up. Here is Pluto on the descendant. And here's all the rest of these planets ganged up, squaring it. It's running through Peru, Ecuador here. Who is Pluto? It's volcanoes. Of course, it could be Ebola, but, you know, volcanoes are the classic physical symptom of Pluto. So here's one place where you could see things happen. Okay, here's another spot. Here's where Pluto hits the other angle on the bottom of the chart, and it runs right up through a famous volcano zone, an earthquake zone, and here's they all gang up about here, see? So here's your second hot spot. Now there is a third spot where Pluto runs by, yes, our islands, but, you know, it's not so difficult here. If we could have a little volcanic action. But I think the main thing is going to be here. Here's another one. Here's where Pluto is ganging up on us. This is Pluto in the midheaven. And this guy means public Pluto. And here we're going to have more action on the volcano side, I think. All right, let's take a look at Pluto and the rising sign. Here we are at my house in Kona. Here's Pluto. It's on the rising sign for this new moon is 21 degrees. And sure enough, it squares Uranus. It could have trouble with cars, something out in the environment. This could be Volgy stuff. Could cost us money somehow, I don't know. But the main thing is, here's the north node, and it's at 21 degrees. Trines the rising. And the south node sextiles it. So it's not going to hurt us too much. It's like we're being powerful. Pluto on the rising sign is us being Pluto, you know. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. However, we got these other guys to play with. And here's a little, first of all, Pluto on the very top of the chart has Uranus on the rising sign. So when Pluto goes off, eek, there's a volcano, and we feel isolated and alone, and we, you know, yeah, and Pluto on the top is public alarm. And when that happens, where was that? That's Pluto on the rising sign. Well, I've got a list. Here's the other thing. Suppose you got Pluto on the descendant. That puts Uranus on top. That means you got fearful people. People are panicky. And you have a fear of volcanoes. That's the way it is in West Africa, around the Cameroon volcano. And here you got displaced persons, refugees up in the public eye, fearing Pluto. See, this could be guys with guns chasing around, you know. But here's the other one. Here's the one in Indonesia. Pluto's at the very bottom of the chart, and Uranus is on the 7th house, saying there's a bunch of displaced persons and strange people, and we don't have power and control over our homes. Evacuate the home and be out there with the refugees. Well, I looked at these various places, and I'm looking basically for volcanoes, okay? Because I'm just going to limit myself to that right now. And here's the one in South America. There's 2 volcanoes there. They're both pretty active, and this one has been going off quite a while. So this is Ecuador and northern Peru, okay? The other one I looked at is Mount Cameroon, which is in West Africa, and that one could be going off too. And then the other one was in Indonesia. Indonesia has a couple of volcanoes. Bombalai is one. Mount Tambora, the last blew off. Anyway, these guys are still very active kind of stuff. And some of these volcanoes are going to make a fuss. You can count on it. Here's some opinion for you. I can't believe what's going on in politics. 2 elephants in the room. Global warming. Nobody asked the question. The drug war. Nobody asked the question. What goes on? Finally, on the San Francisco quake, here's the chart. And Uranus is a very top, very public shaking.